Thursdays, it's all about calculating. Callum Twomey, our man, who's at afl.com.au, Inside Trading. It's live right now on the website and on the AFL app. You can head there for the latest trade, contract and draft news. Go calculating.
G'day, Garry. G'day, Tim. How are you guys?
Well, nice to talk to you, young man. We're very impressed with Nick Martin at the Bombers. They would want to lock him away, would they not?
You're spot on there, Garry. He's been one of the shining lights at Essendon so far this year. You know, his amazing debut game in round one, 5 goals and 27 disposals, which got him the Rising Star nomination. Now he's closing in on a new deal at the Bombers, which will reward him for his hot start to the AFL season. Likely to be a 2-year deal, of course. His signing only weeks before the season started as a pre-season rookie means he's only at the moment contracted for this season. So the Bombers have been quick to get on the front foot and try and lock him in as they should, because he's been terrific. Tim, one for you. Would he be in the top 5 of Essendon's best and fairest so far? Because I probably have him around that mark.
Yep, I think you're spot on. I actually think he's still got a lot of growth in him too. I think he's a very smart
player. Best position, Whispers?
Well, I don't know. He can play around. He just finds the ball. He just is a good position. I would like to think that he could become that really great wingman that Essendon are crying out for, that you keep talking about too, Garry.
No one's listening to me down there. What about Kyle Langford? How's he tracking? I know he's got an injury at the moment.
Well, he's been a bit of a mentor to Nick Martin, actually, through his season. And in that round one game, he did go down with a hamstring injury. Pretty important player, though, for the Bombers there on the wing, through the midfield and in the forward line. He's a free agent. He'll be an unrestricted free agent once those bannings are released, which means the Bombers couldn't match a rival deal for him. But he is in talks at the moment on a new deal and is keen to stay at Essendon. So he's a bit of a different one. He's a young free agent. He only turns 26 in December. So you think that would be more of a longer-term deal for Kyle Langford. And, yeah, his absence has been felt by the Bombers over the first period of the season.
Is Mitch Lewis, is he talking to the Hawks too about an extension?
Not yet. No, not yet. But he is keen to stay. He hasn't started talks on a new deal at the Hawks, so that's one that I think will play out over the next month or so. But did speak to him last week, and he's very keen to stay at the Hawks in career best form, really. 15 goals from the first 5 games of the season. He's loving what Sam Mitchell is doing there as coach, and how that's really opened up the forward line for him this year, and has hit career best season. So is keen to stay and wants to be a Hawk for the future, but yet to start talks there, the big key forward.
He may attract a lot of interest, actually.
Well, he should, because there's not many key forwards on the market, and he's young at 23. He's just reaching a period of his career where you can see what he's going to be, and he's had some sort of continuing issues over the past couple of years. We know that concussion last year knocked him around for a little bit, the boxing incident at the Hawks, but I think what we're seeing at the moment is what the Hawks saw a long time ago. So, yeah, a lot to like there, and hopefully he's back next week from that minor hamstring injury.
This next bloke, I was just going to say, this next bloke reminds me of a Citrodone candle, Garry. You may not be familiar with the Citrodone candle, but they are a slow burner. This bloke's been a slow burner over his career as well, hasn't he? Matt Kennedy, now looking for a longer-term deal there at the Blues.
Yeah, that's the first thing that came to my mind as well, Tim, when I thought about Matt this morning. As my colleague at AFL.com.au, Riley Beveridge, reports, Carlton started initial chats on a contract extension for Matt Kennedy. Now, he's a free agent as well. A little bit different, though, having previously been delisted at the Blues. So that makes him a free agent for life, basically. He's had a couple of one-year deals at Carlton, but after his hot start to the season, I think he's going to be eyeing a multi-year deal this time around. As you say, been fantastic to start to the year. Had 30 or more disposals in the first 3 weeks, so added a fair bit to the Blues midfield.
What about, is there another Danaher on the horizon somewhere, is there?
What?
Well, he's a Danaher, but he's not a Danaher, if that makes sense. His name is Will Reinhold. He's a cousin of Joe Danaher and a member of the Danaher clan. I think his mum's one of the Danaher clan. Another tall prospect. Now, he's a potential option for the mid-season draft in about a month's time. The interesting part with him, though, is that he's going to require an AFL exemption to be eligible to go in the mid-season draft, because he didn't nominate for last year's draft. So that's the nomination eligibility or qualification, I guess. You have to do that to be nomination or to be eligible for the mid-season draft. The AFL does tick off some exemptions it did last year with a few players who got taken. The AFL will look at those case by case and won't be doing blanket exemptions, but it'll be leaning on clubs' interest in the players as it goes through them. But Will Reinhold, he's playing for Port Melbourne in the VFL, and yeah, we could have another Danaher, not by surname, but by family link in the AFL soon enough.
And just quickly before we let you go, are you on Tom Scully watch at the moment, are you?
What?
I am. I'm on Tom Scully watch. Now, he's not the hard-running number one pick of the 2009 draft. Another one to put down in your book, Gaz. But he's a teenager from West Adelaide. Tom Scully, he's blown apart the start of the Sandford under-18 season. He's kicked 26 goals from the first 5 games. So, obviously, the maths there says 5 goals a game averaging, and 24 in his past 4 appearances too. So, not a heap of key forwards in the top of the draft, and he's standing out at the moment like a beacon. 202 centimetres, doesn't turn 18 until November. So the Championships is going to be a big part of his season at the middle of the year for South Australia. But what we've seen so far from Tom Scully has been astonishing, really. So still a bit of growing to do in him, and certainly all the clubs are looking at Tom Scully, the key forward from West Adelaide, and wondering how high he can go, because at the moment he's showing great signs.
Oh, I love it. Every time we get a name, I've written them all down, and I tell you what, Calculating Cal comes into his own in the Championships, which aren't too far away. Thank you, Calculating. We'll talk again next week.